folks, welcome back to another top 10 list in my pseudo series that's going on here. A while back I did a top 10 game mechanisms as a top 10 list for one of my videos one week, and basically after I did that I just said, hey, why don't I do 10 more top 10 lists that list my favorite games in each of my favorite game mechanisms categories, or however you want to look at it. That's what I'm doing. Right now I believe I'm at number 4, which is dice rolling games. So I am doing my top 10 dice rolling games here right now. Now, there are a few caveats with this list. I didn't go with just any old game that has dice in it that you roll. For example, Small World has a die in it and you roll it at certain points throughout the course of the game. But I wouldn't really consider Small World a dice rolling game. It's much more, or it's much different than that. Additionally, you know, a game like Dead of Winter, yeah, it has dice in it. You're rolling dice. I don't really consider that a dice rolling game. You know what I mean? So the games that I picked for this list have usually, more often than not, a lot of dice in them. And dice rolling is a somewhat core mechanic of the game, or at least what I would consider a core mechanic of the game. You're going to probably disagree with some of the games on my list, just to basically hold true with how it always goes. But with this list, I tried to be a little bit more stringent, I guess you could say, on what games I considered a dice rolling game rather than a game that just has dice rolling in it. I know that's almost a superfluous type of moniker, but that's what I tried to do. Let's get to the list and you'll be the final judge on whether I achieved my purpose. All right, so my number 10 here is a game called Steampunk Rally, put out by Roxio Games, Roxley Games. And it has a ton of dice in it, and you are rolling all these dice throughout the course of the game. But the way you use the dice is what's really cool about it, what's really kind of muscled its way onto my list. And you're using the different colors of dice for different mechanisms that you're adding to your contraption. You're taking on the role of this famous inventor from the annals of history, and you are trying to build this contraption to race throughout the mountains, the Alps. And so you have all of these different parts of your machine that do different things and run on different kinds of energy, and you have to roll these dice, and it's just a really interesting game that uses dice as a core mechanism, and you're constantly having to roll and re-roll and use them and then roll them again and fill back up. There's just a lot of dice rolling going on in Steampunk Rally, so it immediately came to my mind as I was thinking about games for this list, and it just made out for the 10th position. So that's my number 10, Steampunk Rally. My number 9 is a game that is much different in scope than Steampunk Rally. It is a very small game, what I would consider a micro game. Comes in a very small box from Fantasy Flight. It's called Age of War. And this is where you're rolling dice, but you're trying to roll different faces to come up with different combinations in order to conquer these different fortresses that are in the Japanese countryside. It's a Japanese themed game, and the dice are exquisitely produced. I really enjoy the dice a lot, and I love custom dice as well. So you'll probably see that a lot on this list as we get further into it. But Age of War is a very quick, maybe 15-20 minute game where you are simply rolling dice for different combinations that are on these different fortresses that you're trying to conquer. So that's all this game is. It is nothing but a dice rolling game. And so it immediately, again, came to mind. It's one of my favorite filler games of all time. So it had to make the list. My number 9, Age of War. Now my number 8, I was taught by a person at Dice Tower Con a long time ago. And it was just kind of on a whim. He says, hey, come on, try this game. You'll probably like it. You like dice rolling, so you'll probably like it. It has a sci-fi theme on it. Really enjoy sci-fi themes. I'm talking about Quantum. Now, Quantum has a really cool usage of the dice. You're rolling them all the time, but the die that comes up, the face that comes up on the die rather, is a lot of different things. It talks about what kind of ship it is. It also talks about how far you can move. It also talks about special abilities that it might be able to use throughout the course of the game. And so there's a lot of different things that go into the die face that you actually roll. But Quantum is definitely a dice rolling game. It is at the core of the entire game of rolling dice, and what you roll affects a lot of different parts of the game. So I thought of this one immediately as well as I was thinking about games for this. So my number 8 is Quantum. Now my number 7 is a older game by Richard Lanius that a lot of people have probably overlooked for a couple of different reasons. First of all, it had a pretty big splash when it first hit, but it died out pretty quick, and I don't know why, because I really enjoy this game a lot. Another reason why is that it's another zombie game, so it probably just got enveloped in all of the other zombie games that have come out between then and now. But Run, Fight, or Die is a dice game that is really, really fun. It has a lot of cool miniatures in it as well. Not outstanding miniatures, but they're good, they're decent, and I really do enjoy them. Now, the dice rolling aspect is a number of different things. You're rolling to attack the zombies, yes, but you're also rolling the dice to try to get some faces for different combinations that your special character will be able to pull off. So if you roll a combination of faces on the die that your character is looking for, then he gets to do a special super action on his turn. Now, those are hard to get, yes. There are other faces of the die that you can roll to get other less powerful but still really cool combinations as well. Generally, you're just trying to beat back the zombie horde that's attacking. It's pretty much what you would expect from a zombie game, but the dice rolling in this one is really, really fun, and it can be really, really tense as well, because you have a zombie boss monster that's running around just making life very difficult, and you're trying to score hits on him, you're trying to score hits on the zombies that are right in your face. It's a really fun dice game. If you haven't tried Run, Fight, or Die, you really need to give it a try. It's my number 7, Run, Fight, or Die. Now my number 6 is a game called Conan. It just came out here recently by Monolith, and it has dice that is basically used simply for combat resolution. And I was trying to stay away from dice as combat resolution only for this list. I think, do a good job. There's only 3 games, I think, that the dice are only used for combat resolution. This is one of them, Conan. But it's a really great game, and one of the things that I really enjoy about it is connected to the dice rolling mechanism. Yeah, you're rolling dice, you're rolling a lot of dice, but how many dice you roll is dependent upon how much stamina you use throughout the course of the game. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And it has a little bit of a mitigation factor, because if you just stick to what you're able to roll inherently, your chances are not that great to score a hit from time to time. But the more stamina you use, the more dice you're able to roll, and that helps mitigate some of the randomness that dice rolling can instill into a game. So I really enjoy the dice rolling mechanism in Conan. I really enjoy it a lot. So that's why it made my list. My number 6, Conan. Number 5 is probably a game that you've been waiting to come up, because I do really enjoy this game. I've played it a ton since I first got it. I've played it with a lot of different kinds of people. Played it with kids in summer camp. I've played it with gamers at a convention. The whole spectrum has played this game in my experience, and that is my number 5, King of Tokyo. Now this is a straight dice rolling game where you're really playing in a Yahtzee style fashion, trying to roll the strongest combination. Now you're not really using the entire set or core mechanism of rules from Yahtzee. You're really just using the dice rolling mechanism where you can roll once, then you can pick dice out of it and roll again, and then you can pick dice out of that and roll again. So you get 2 re-rolls, basically, is what I mean by the Yahtzee style mechanism. But it's a really fun game. Again, custom dice that I told you earlier that I really enjoy. And it just has a lot of different... the thing that I like the most about this one, and the reason it has stayed so high on my list throughout the years, is that it's so simple. Everybody can play it. Little kids can play it, and little kids can be competitive with older adults. So a lot of people don't like games like that, where there's just too much luck involved. But sometimes it's a breath of fresh air to sit down with somebody who is, you know, a fraction of your age, and they can hold their own in a game against you. I just like that. And so King of Tokyo has always been high on my lists. Definitely ranks up there, top 5 for this one as well. My number 5, King of Tokyo. Now my number 4 is a Star Wars game. It is Star Wars Imperial Assault. Again, custom dice, and I really enjoy this game a lot. Now for me, the skirmish portion of the game is where it really sings to me. I know there are a lot of people out there that love campaign mode, and I certainly understand why you do. It's just taking your Star Wars characters through those different stories and have them level up and all that kind of stuff. I get it. I totally do. But for me, the skirmish mode is where it really sings. I just like being able to build my forces, have my opponent build his forces to a certain point level, and then we just go at it. I just really enjoy that. That's where I really enjoy Star Wars Imperial Assault. The dice rolling, the custom dice, all of the different things that you can do with your characters and their special abilities to mitigate those dice and change them a little bit here and there, and add dice to them. And I just really enjoy this game, probably on the cusp of what I would really consider a true dice rolling game, but I do like it enough to where it just made the list at number 4. I could not include it. Horrible English, I know, but you get my meaning. My number 4, Star Wars Imperial Assault. Now my top 3 games here in dice rolling games, you're probably able to guess them. I would imagine if you've watched any number of top 10 lists that have included me in them, with me and the other 2 guys, then you probably are going to be able to nail my top 3. Maybe not in the same order, maybe you would, I don't know. But my number 3 is Stone Age. This one is not custom dice, but the reason I like this one so much is because there are so many different ways to mitigate the luck factor that the dice bring into it. And that's one of the main things that a lot of people dislike Stone Age for. They feel like the dice rolls are just too random. I would simply disagree, because I've played this so much that I can see what I need to do. How many dice do I need to send to this pool to ensure that I get exactly what I need, or at least the bare minimum of what I need? All of that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not a mathematician at all, and I don't know that much about statistics and all of this other kind of stuff, but just from sheer playing the game a lot, I've been able to understand how to mitigate the dice in different situations. And so the dice rolling in Stone Age is definitely one of my favorite aspects of it, because I know how to work that system, so to speak. Now, I'm not boasting or anything like that, because I'm definitely not perfect at it, but I do enjoy it a lot. So, Stone Age, my number 3. Now, my number 2 is Memoir 44. And yes, the conflict resolution aspect of dice rolling is rearing its ugly head once again, but here, I just really enjoy it. First of all, it has custom dice where you're not rolling for a number, you're rolling for a silhouette of the kind of unit that you're attacking. So if you're attacking infantry, you're wanting those light blue infantry silhouettes. If you're attacking tanks, you're wanting to roll those dark tank silhouettes. Or if you can roll a grenade as well, that works, because that's also a hit. I just really enjoy the dice rolling mechanism in this. Now, is Memoir 44 a dice rolling game? I would imagine that yes, it is. You could have some other kind of conflict resolution mechanism that's in there, but man, it just doesn't, for me at least, it just would not feel the same if I'm not chucking dice there in a game of Memoir 44. Would not feel the same at all. So that's why I included it on this list, because it definitely feels like a strategic, tactical, dice rolling game for 2 on up to 8 players if you play with Overlord. So I really enjoy this, and I have to share with you, a friend of mine and I at MeepleCon this last spring, we were able to play a game of Memoir 44 from setup to shutdown in 30 minutes. Now, we are both well versed in the game, and we both kind of worked together to set the game up with the terrain and the different pieces. I was setting up terrain, and he was started setting up all those soldiers. But we had a great time. We called it Speed Memoir 44 because it was like a chess match where we were like going ding, 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 ding. Okay, I'm done. Your turn. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, my turn. Oh, ding, ding, ding. And we were just going back and forth. Had a great time at it. So Memoir 44, my number 2. And my number 1 dice rolling game of all time. You're probably able to deduce what it is because I have talked about this at length in many of my top 10 lists, and that is Bang the Dice Game. And of course, you want to include the Saloon expansion that just came out last year. I think that's one of the most essential expansions for a game that's out there. It really makes Bang the Dice Game that much better. But it is a dice rolling game through and through. Now, it's a dice rolling version of a older card game. I don't even play the card game anymore because I like the dice game so much. There's just so many things I like about it. I love the different social aspects that are in there, but dice rolling is at its core. You are always, every single turn, you are rolling those dice, again, in a Yahtzee style fashion where you get a initial roll and then 2 re-rolls to try to garner what you want to use on your turn. I really enjoy it. Always does well when it hits the table. My number 1 dice rolling game of all time, Bang the Dice Game. So that is my top 10 dice rolling games of all time. You'll agree with me, you'll disagree with me, I understand that. Just write it down in the comments. Be nice when you do that. Again, we're talking about games here, people. We're a community. I know you might not agree with me, but hey, if you don't, just let me know why. And I will try to carve out some time to respond to you and reply with some comments of my own. Again, I'll be nice as well. Anyway, thanks for watching so much, people. We appreciate it. I appreciate it here at the Dice Tower. We'll see you guys on the flip side.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.